Rampage wins against Briggs. I think I give it a 50-50. Rampage is an old school fighter who thrived on being more well-rounded than his opponents, and he's got a lot of knockout power, and he's also got a great amount of experience. His flaws are is he's not going to have that refined technique when it comes to boxing, but this can play to his advantage because it's going to give him more of an unorthodox style of striking, and he's going to hit Briggs with angles that he's not really used to, and it'll help him also maneuver around in the clinch, and in infighting it could also help him out a little bit as well. Rampage could win. He's younger, he's been active, and he's an MMA guy, so I give him a little bit more of an edge as being the better athlete overall. But the only thing is that he's coming off of a loss against Fedor, and a devastating loss, got knocked out. And for Rampage to win, I just see that he needs to get back that hunger. He goes into his fights, he doesn't seem so hungry anymore. He's just felt like he's kind of like out of touch with the game. He needs to get that back. He needs to gain his confidence back. He needs to also train his cardio. His cardio is always something that was, and later on in his career was kind of questionable. But he needs to train that cardio, and he needs to really, really, really sharpen his boxing ability. Because boxing isn't like MMA where you can be decent at one thing and not so good in another aspect and still kind of thrive, especially in Rampage's time. It was more segregated. You had jiu-jitsu guys, wrestling guys, the kickboxing guys, it wasn't all, like, nobody really put it all into one art, so to speak. And basically in boxing, you gotta have a high level. But when you're at a high level, you gotta make sure you cover all your bases. You can't just be you can't be a really good out boxer and then have no knowledge of infighting. It's a recipe for disaster. So Rampage wins if he can not only withstand Briggs in the first round, because Briggs comes out hard. That's what he's known for. So if Rampage could do that, withstand all that. He could set a pace if possible. If he could train his cardio enough, he could set a pace where Briggs can't even keep up with it. And Briggs is a confident fighter. He's an overconfident fighter, sometimes you could say. And if Rampage is smart, he could play that to his advantage and basically make Briggs tire himself out. Rampage can hit Briggs with some jabs, play possum a little bit, make it seem like he wants to exchange and invite Briggs to dominate, the first 2 rounds, where Briggs is usually, comes in hot and heavy. And, Rampage could, jab, back up, allow Briggs to leap, throw his jabs, throw his punches, whatever he's got to do, and his combos, all while, Rampage can maintain his defense, slipping and rolling with the punches, reduce some damage. And then, here and there when Briggs oversteps, Rampage just really needs to focus on rabbit punches, body punches, lowering, Briggs' cardio, and, really setting the tone of the fight that way. And basically only be on the offensive when the opportunity is there and presents itself, and don't overcommit to anything just yet until the later rounds. After the second or third round, I can see Rampage, if he survives the storm and if he does a strategy similar to that, I could really see him, taking over the fight, changing the tide of the fight. And if he does a brilliant mix between going to the body and the head, Briggs is gonna have a nightmare keeping up with him, especially if Rampage trains his cardio and sets a hard to keep up with kind of pace, and then he's oppressive with it. I really see him winning this thing. He just really needs to be smart with it. At the end of the day, we don't really know if this fight's ever gonna happen. I just thought it would be fun to critique it and to imagine what would happen. Let me know what you guys would think, who would win, and have a great day.